at y'all again in T Nizzle's kitchen. Yeah, T Nizzle's kitchen. What am I gonna be cooking today? I'm gonna do some chicken thighs today, you guys. Chicken thighs. Not only am I gonna cook some chicken thighs, but I'm gonna bake some and I'm gonna fry some. And the ones that I'm frying, I'm assembling in gravy. So those who don't know how to make gravy, I want y'all to keep on watching. And I'm gonna actually show y'all how to make gravy my way, or you can add your own little ingredients to it as well. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to go ahead and take my thighs, pack before I throw it away. I'm gonna put it over here on this side, so all the skin that I'm gonna pull off of my thighs, I can put the excess skin over here. Now, I'm gonna turn the cold water on so I can clean my thighs. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth a little bit first. Get all the blood and everything that's on my thighs. Take the pack, put that over there where the excess skin is gonna go. I'm going ahead and just release this water out, because that water is already a little cloudy from the chicken. So once I do that, guess what I'm gonna do? I like to take the skin off of my chicken when I'm baking it. So the ones that's gonna be baked, the skin, I'm actually taking the skin off. As you guys can see. And leave the skin on the ones that I'm going to fry, because the ones that I'm going to fry, I'm assembling gravy. That's all I'm doing, is cutting the excess skin off of the ones that I'm leaving the skin on. The excess skin, the extra skin that's hanging, I'm cutting that off so the skin will just fit the thigh perfect like that. Once I place my chicken into the cooking pan, right, I put just a light layer of water starting from the corner at the bottom. Just a light layer of water, as y'all can see. I go ahead and add my seasoning. And again, I have 6 seasonings inside my seasonings at one time versus me using different bottles. I just use one. And no, there's no salt inside of my seasoning. So I go on ahead and I season a light layer across the top of my thighs or whatever type of meat that I'm cooking, and I do it a little bit around it so it can get into the water as well. Now, I have my thighs seasoned with a light layer of water at the bottom, and now I'm finna put it in the oven. Put it in the oven, like in the middle. And you see that I have my stove on 350 degrees set at 2 hours. Now you guys, I'm finna also cook some yellow rice to go with my smothered thighs and fried thighs. What do I do and how do I cook the yellow rice? You bring your water to a boil. How much water? 3½ cups. So once I put that in, then you also have to use some olive oil, and you want to do at least 3 spoons, but I do everything by eye. 3 spoons of olive oil. Get my spoon, stir that in, and I'm gonna let that simmer. That is my yellow rice. I'm about to fry those, you guys. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna take a bag and some flour. Put some flour in the bag, just enough for those 3, because it ain't a lot of chicken that I'm frying. I'm just only frying 3 thighs. So I put enough flour in there for my 3 thighs. And then I go ahead and place my thighs with the skin on it in the bag. And believe it or not, I go ahead and add my seasoning inside the bag, or I can season the chicken before I put it in the bag. Either way. So I take my bag, flour my chicken this way. Once I floured it, I knock the excess flour off. And then I place them into my frying pan that's already simmering. See there? Now you guys, I'm about to check on my baked chicken. There's my baked chicken. So what I'm going to do with my baked chicken, I'm going to pull it out. I see that my water has almost evaporated out of there, so I'm going to turn my thighs over and add some more seasoning and a little more water. The water gonna keep it juicy. Add a little more seasoning and around on the outside. Add me some water from the corner. And now you guys, since it was already cooking for a minute, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add me some onions for flavor. And let that bake the rest of the way with my baked chicken. Now I'm going to show you guys what everybody always wants to know, the question of how to make gravy. Now that my chicken is done, as you guys can see my 3 pieces of chicken that I started off with earlier? What I did was I pulled just about all the grease off and just left a little bit of grease in the pan. See the little bit of grease in the pan? So you want to leave a little bit of grease in the pan. So while I have this little bit of grease in the pan, I'm going to cook me some onions for flavor. Put me some onions in the pan for some flavor before I add my flour and water. I'm going to let these onions cook a little bit. I know some of you guys don't like onions, but I use onions for flavor, and I love onions sauteed. Right now I'm letting these onions fry. They smell good too, you guys. Only you can smell this aroma. Just letting the onions cook. You want to know when it's done? All you have to do is get a fork and a knife, and you cut the thickest part of the chicken all the way down, and it'll show you that it's done all the way through. So that's how you know that the chicken is done all the way through before you start the gravy. I'm finna get 1 spoon of flour. See that, you guys? 1 spoon of flour. I'm gonna add water. How much water I'm adding? I'm glad you asked. I had about this much the first time, almost full, with that 1 spoonful of flour. And you want to stir the flour gently, not making a mess, making a splash everywhere, but you want to stir it gently. Gently until it dissolves all the way in the water. Once it dissolves all the way in the water, then that's when you get ready to pour it on your chicken and onions while it's frying. If your gravy is too thin, all you have to do is just get you another teaspoon of flour and add a half a cup of water and stir it like I'm doing now. And you add that to it, it'll be more gravy, but it'll make it thicker. So add more flour, make the gravy thicker. You just don't keep adding a whole full cup. You do a full cup at first. So I done stirred that in real good. Now I'm about to pour my flour and water into the pan. You turn this down a little bit, about 5. But you want to go ahead and let that just cook. And see, I left all the crumbs still in the pan because that's what gives the gravy its color, the brown color. At first, when you first start cooking it, you're going to think that you messed up, but no, you haven't. It's going to look like this at first. But all you got to do is just keep stirring it. It's going to automatically turn brown from the crumbs that was left in the pot. Just keep stirring it. And again, if it's too thin, all you have to do is just add a half a teaspoon of flour and a half a cup of water. Stir it up in the cup real good and pour it in, and that'll make it thicker. So right now, I'm just stirring the flour and water in with my fried chicken thighs. And as you guys can see, the gravy will start getting brown and it'll get a little thicker. Last but not least, you guys, everything is ready. I have my yellow rice. Yellow rice. I have my gravy. Look at that. I have my chicken and gravy. Add a little more gravy to my rice. Beautiful. Even have onions. You guys remember the onions that I fried? That's in there as well. That's my gravy that I showed you guys how to make. And look at my baked chicken, how that came out. Get me a piece of that. Falling off the bone by cooking it in the water. Piece of my baked chicken. And some of my sweet peas. And there you have it, you guys. Chicken thighs smothered in gravy, yellow rice, baked chicken, and sweet peas. I thank you guys for coming to T Nizzle's Kitchen again.